pressure rocks you like a hurricane. Is it time for you to jump into the next train? Change of hand, make a stand, I can see your heart change. Wake up, no more nap, your turn is coming up. You feel lazy, but stop the fantasies and bubble dust. If you need to hear, go for it. I will teach you how to feel the things so close to you, connected all. Every day is a miracle. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Don't think you're invisible. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Would you show you hate? Would you text me from your rest bed? Running from the dead in the battle of cyberheads. You should think twice, cause they will make your brain melt. New device, better price, keep you feeling impressed. Stop it all, every day we'll live a miracle. Unpredictable, you don't need an upgrade anymore. Can't you see the link? Don't worry, I will teach you how to take the pill to feel the thrill and touch it all. Every day is a miracle. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Don't think you're invisible. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Every day is a miracle. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Don't think you're invisible. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss.
Hello and welcome to Jurassic Park. I am your host. I am Compton. You can refer to me as Compton on the interwebs because that's how I roll on the interwebs. Thanks for watching my silly little stream here. Thanks for popping in and looking at this because god damn it, I'm gonna do this and fucking somebody is going to enjoy it. Someone somewhere at some point. I will try not to, I try not to be necessarily as offensive as I normally am. I'm usually pretty fucking offensive. I'm not going to lie. The world getting as kind of sensitive and sort of against people who, are loose cannons. The world getting that way. I'll be amazed if I survive. At some point, I will end up being, beaten to death by a large group of hermaphrodites or something. I don't know. So here, I'm gonna throw this on here. Yep. So real quick, I want to talk. I want to talk about a few things, but one of the things I really want to talk about is Stadia, Google Stadia. I don't have a ton to say about it other than I like where their head is. I am very skeptical. I pre-ordered, by the way, so I'm definitely going to use it. I'm going to try to give it a go and see how it is. I don't know. I have more than enough bandwidth to do it, and you know, I think it could be pretty cool. The only thing is, and I know a lot of people are talking about this, it's like, you know, how are you going to eliminate the input lag problem? I agree, because actually, I've been on dedicated connections before where you rely on a server to run other kinds of programs. Long story, but my experience is that it's like people notice pretty small input lag changes. You would be surprised how much you notice something that even as low as like 50 milliseconds, you'll be like, God, this feels horrible. So if they manage to eliminate that, then good job. If not, then whatever. I mean, I don't really care. And what I mean by that is I'm not married to the idea that it needs to work or not. I'm just kind of indifferent to it. If it works, I'll keep the service and it'll be fucking awesome. If not, then whatever. I tend to think that, like, in order to really get your input lag down and your data usage down, because I think that's what we're gonna run into. There are some other things. I mean, I heard some really great points made, but I think you kind of need to go almost like a little bit of a partial origin kind of thing. You know, you have some files that are local and some things that you'll be able to pull from, you know, a solid state drive, because they're becoming standard now. The cost is coming down so much that, like, everybody's rocking solid state these days, not just me and the other tech nerds, like normal human beings. People who are like, wow, so you can just turn on your computer and it's just on, it's just like it's there, and you just, yes, that's right. And they're like, witchcraft, and it's like, yeah, bro, we've been doing this a while. But they're new to this game. So I don't know. Google Stadia, I think, is going to be, I think it's going to be fun. I don't know. And even if it sucks, it's like, so what? Spend $130 to see a new piece of tech. Maybe it'll be great. So I don't know. I mean, I prefer to take that sort of optimistic stance on it. Here, I'm going to be booting up here. I am going to do a bit of Overwatch. I don't know how long my stream is going to be today because I got shit to do. But I will definitely be killing some children on the internet. So hopefully this'll boot up. So yeah, among other things, I was seeing a lot of backlash. The reason I bring it up is I was seeing a ton of backlash against just the idea. Like, the mere concept of Stadia seemed to be outrageous to people. And they did this move where they were like, not, you know, look at the cost of this. This is prohibitively expensive. And it's like, you buy a new console. How often do they have a new console? I'm gonna look that up. How often do we have, like, new consoles? Here, let's in fact, let me go live screen plus my browser. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I'll bring this up. How often should you wash your hair? Should I change my oil? Rotate time? Wow. Should you shower? The world's getting weirder, man. World's getting weirder. Yeah, the weird's getting worlder. Fuck. It's been a long one today. It really has. How often do new consoles come out? So, actually, maybe a better question would be PlayStation release dates. Let's see if we can find this. I like that. I like that they... When were all the PlayStations released? December 3rd, 1994. Like... Well, I was there, and I don't recall that. Here we go. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. I want to know. So, 1994... PS2 was 2003. That's probably the longest we've gone, right? PlayStation 2 Slimline 2004, so that was a year later. See, and look at that. Just a couple years after that, you got your PS3. PS4 in 2013. So, I mean, what you're talking about right now, and then 2016, they had the PS4 Pro. I don't know, if you were keeping up with all of this, let's just say you did like the PS4, right? 2013, and then you had, what was it? Let's throw those out. Let's just look at those. So, 7 years there, like... 7 years in 2002, yeah, about 6 years, yeah. So, I mean, you're looking at about 6 years, and after you buy game, controller, all that stuff, maybe an extra controller. I have a concha here, by the way, so if you're not familiar, this is like Mexican coffee cake. It's fucking delicious. But it's conceivable that you're looking at, without buying any games, without really buying any games, you just sort of set yourself up. Once you set yourself up, an average of $100 per year is not outrageous. If you could finance it, just in terms of an annual cost, that's what it would cost you. So if you break that down, is it that much worse than, you know, going with... And by the way, Stadia would be one of those things where you could have the latest and greatest hardware without having to spend the money for the latest and greatest. So these sort of in-between iterations here that are, you know, expensive and maybe unnecessary. Like, the PS3 is super slim. I mean, if that's what you're doing, anyway, you're saving a lot of money. So, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at it from the perspective that is, I don't see the need to shit all over this idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. I really do. I think it's a good idea. I'm going to put my alert box. I just am now realizing I need to put my alert box like up at the top of priorities. Otherwise, it's not going to be seen. And then we'll never be alerted. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So, I really like that little mix there. Isn't that nice? Just a nice chill mix, that one. I like this one too. This isn't a mix, but this is a good artist. FKJ, who looks like every bit of the dirtiest fucking hippie you've ever seen in your life. Fantastic musician. Maybe he is the dirtiest, I don't know. But he's a great musician. The guy's awesome. Love it. A little bit of a jack of all trades too. Bang out some good tunes on a lot of instruments. Okay, so we should probably jump into things here a little bit, and I'm going to, here's what I am going to do. My buddy commented on the I feel like that thing in Idiocracy where you're like seeing a bunch of channels going at once. I get it. Although I personally, I like to listen to podcasts and play games at the same time. It's something I very commonly do. Very commonly. Although the extra visual component there, I get it. But if you'd rather see, like, the people talking than see me, you've got your choice. And frankly, I don't even know necessarily how valuable it is to have me on the screen at all, now that I really think about it. I mean, who gives a shit, right? I should probably fuck with that, as a matter of fact, and like sort of dial in that size. Okay, so I want to find, I'm looking right now at some good freaking headlines. Let's see. Oh no, I don't want to see any of that. The Florida garbage truck blows the F up on Turnpike, really? I want to see that. You see that shit? What the fuck? This video could not be played. Okay. Here, let's see. Mobile users. You know what? Did somebody take it down? That's what it is. See that? Well, or it could just be that I don't have Facebook, and I will never have Facebook. Fuck that book full of faces. I was about to say, what do these people have to do with it? And it's like, no, nothing. He too caught tape of a truck that went up in flames on Tuesday. So this is all there is. Like, all we're talking about, literally, okay, whatever. So we're sitting here and talking about, like, we're not going to explain it all. We're just going to be like, a massive blast. Holy shit. What about this? No, I'm not going to share it on Twitter. Fuck you. I wanted to see a garbage truck blow up, but I mostly want to know why. Like, was it made by Tesla? These are the things I have to know. I'm curious. Police departments around the country are building a surveillance net using Amazon Ring doorbell cameras. Yeah. Well, I mean, you ever see the thing in the, like, Batman games? Like, okay, so Batman has, like, access to, I guess, a lot of surveillance cameras around the city. And he just fucking reconstructs, like, images of everything. Just, he can observe everything just using all the footage, and he pieces it together, and it's like tomography of some kind. He just sort of goes like, all right, there we go, and now I can assemble entire environments. Which, although is, yes, a completely fictional thing, it's also like, it's not outrageous. If you know a little bit about how, let's say, you know, image reconstruction works in medical imaging, that's kind of how it works. You just have a lot of angles. And encoding and things like that. He seems nice. Uh-oh. Let's see it. Uh-oh, here we go. Get started off. This is how you know you're reading HuffPost. It's like, I first have to identify this man. What is he? He's a Trump supporter. That's how you know he's a horrible person. You know, I don't want to rant about this. And I'm not a Trump fan by any means. Trust me. I wish we were not living this life right now. Because this is not our best life. But the fact that we have to, you know, predicate all these things on like, hey, by the way, just letting you know, this crazy person here is a Trump supporter. Well, I'll tell you what, I can find plenty of crazy fucking people who support almost anything. Almost anything. I can find somebody who's crazy. It's just funny how this is the narrative. It's like all they do is walk around with guns and their cocks out. Maybe at the same time. Maybe they're blowing their balls off like the guys the other weekend. Fucking Walla Walla, Washington. Blew his goddamn balls off. Alright, so Scott Brian Haven of Utah is accused of making over 2,000 phone calls to the U.S. Capitol over a 3-year period about Democrats threatening Trump's presidency. That's nutty. He threatened to kill members of Congress during a 3-year stretch with more than 2,000 phone calls to the U.S. Capitol and profanity-laden tirades about Democrats. There are all these people. You know, it's like, if you think that the issues we have are party issues and not people issues, you're missing the walkway. Seriously, you're missing the walkway. I met plenty of good people from every party, and I've met plenty of shitbags too. In one call last month, Scott Brian Haven dialed the office. By the way, isn't that such a crazy guy name too? If your name's Scott Brian Haven, you're not building any rocket ships unless it's in your backyard with a lot of like fucking baking powder. He dialed the offices of an unnamed U.S. representative and purported to be standing right behind him and ready to shoot him in the head because the Russians want him taken out because he is trying to remove a duly elected president. What? Dude, I am... Oh, hello, Pimposs. I do have... By the way, I have chat up now. So, I do have that. And thank you. I appreciate that. I promise that I don't generally start talking about anything. In fact, I am not going to be at all political. It just so happens that I saw this crazy headline. It was announced as he seems nice, and I have to click on it. I have to. All right, so. But they have to start off. They have to be like, all right. The guy's a Trump supporter. Just letting you know he's fucking nuts. It's like, okay, all right. I'm sure there are nice guys out there. I'm sure. Somewhere. All right, so. Politics are funny. I agree. I am constantly blown away by how emotionally invested people get in politics because we're all on the same team. We all want to get, to the other side. It just so happens people have a different idea of how to do that. And I love to hear the ideas. I love to hear them. Like, if somebody has an idea, I will absolutely shoot the shit with somebody about it. And I don't get upset. I don't get angry. I just go, all right, well, maybe. And let's hear about it and let's talk about it. Like, why do you think that? And I think that there's a rising contingency of people, that think that way. That they are concerned about ideas more than they are about ideology. Yeah, and that's true. No matter how high somebody is in office or really anything in life, they can totally be an idiot. And I see it all the goddamn time. In my job, I work with a lot of people, PhDs, MDs, just a myriad of people. And I am, of course, another scientist kind of among those people, and I run into guys all the time. It's just like, holy shit, you've had your head up your ass for how many years? How do you breathe, bro? So yeah, I don't know. But You know, a lot of these guys are kind of sheltered, to be fair. They're also a little bit sheltered. So they kind of go through this whole period in life. If you have to go through a lot of schooling, or if you have to go through certain channels in life, like your family takes you through certain, you know, steps to get where you are, a lot of times that kind of takes you away from interacting with the world as it is and dealing with reality on reality's terms. So yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's high noon. Yeah, I know. I've had the Matt Mercer comments and things like that before. It happens all the time. And actually, I do occasionally pop into Overwatch here, and I'll fuck with people and make it sound like I'm Torbjorn. Torbjorn, ready for work. You know, I can pull off certain impressions pretty well. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody is precluded from being a dumbass. I think that's where we need to be in society, is we all need to realize everybody makes mistakes. Everybody can sound like a fucking idiot. Lord only knows I've sounded like an idiot, and I'm sure I will again, and such is life. But, you know, I think the fact that we take ourselves so seriously is the tragedy, and the fact that, you know, we'll stop a news cycle. We'll stop a news cycle so that we can be like, and this person was offended. And it's like, bro, we don't live for 700 years, okay? You don't have much time on this planet. Is this how you want to spend your time? Being upset? Fuck it. It's fine. Yeah, you've never said anything stupid. You know what? There was a period in life when I would have been like, oh, come on, I've never said anything that bad. Come on now. But I don't know. I mean, it's good to have a certain amount of humility. That's all I'm saying. Humility is always good. And, you know, just not being so emotionally invested in shit that doesn't make any difference. Speaking of being emotionally invested, by the way, I have something that makes me unreasonably upset. Okay? I was talking with some coworkers. They're sitting in my office, and it is indeed my office, and I will kick those motherfuckers out, okay? The thing that bothers me is we were discussing, like, I was saying about chocolates and things like that, where I was just like, yeah, you know, we were talking about in the context of, like, flavors and what the fuck I ended up out. God damn it. Oh, shit. Dude, what is happening? That was bad. All of that was bad. Oh, fuck. So, I was talking to them in the context of, like, flavors that nobody really is into. Like, and why we managed to buy the same amounts of all the shit that nobody wants. So, like, let's say you're talking about getting pizza, and there's always that asshole who stands up and goes, well, I think we should also get a ham and pineapple. And you're like, okay, well, does anyone else like ham and pineapple? Well, we should get a vegetarian. Okay, we'll get a vegetarian, we'll get a ham and pineapple. And then what ends up happening is the fucking meat lovers is gone immediately. And even the guy who requested the ham and pineapple is eating a meat lovers. And you're like, hey, what the fuck? And then there's like one slice of vegetarian is eaten. By the way, we're getting our fucking asses beat to shit. What is happening here? So, like, I don't understand why we do this and we accommodate. And so I was telling them, like, why do we do this? And I was like, you know, it's like the thing where you open up you open up a box of chocolates and you'll get, like, the whole row of fucking coconut. And it's like, why the fuck do they put coconut in here? It's such a niche, like, certain people enjoy coconut. And it really is certain people enjoying coconut. And all I'm saying is, and then, of course, my coworkers interrupt me, and they go like, what's wrong with coconut? I like coconut. And I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna kick you out of here. You gotta be kidding me. You really think that coconut It like you think that that's it, you're gonna go out and buy chocolate and your choice is gonna be coconut. You are full of shit. You are not gonna eat the goddamn coconut before you eat all the other flavors. Coconut is the one that you go like, well, I mean, I'll stomach it, I guess. Why do they make it in mass? It should be in its own goddamn thing, and I opt out of coconut. I do work in a pretty great place. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy my job. I enjoy my job about as much as I think you reasonably can enjoy, you know, getting up in the morning and dragging yourself to do the same shit day in and day out, right? But I will definitely say that I have some pretty great coworkers. So, oh fuck, dude, I want healing, please, for the love of Jesus. Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. Oh, God. So you're saying my brother's a really nice and cheerful, optimistic person, and I'm going to use one of his quotes he uses to inspire many, many people. It goes like this: everybody is fucking retarded, me too, and especially you, Pim. You know what? That's fine. I think that works. I think that works. I get unreasonably upset though about the flavor thing. Like I am fully acknowledging how ridiculous that is. Oh god damn you. All right, there we go. it just never ceases to make me laugh that like every time I turn around, when I make a point, there's always somebody who has to chime in to shit on it. That's my problem. So it does happen like on a near daily basis. I will pop out with something where I'll be like, have you guys noticed this? And then they'll be like, oh, that never happens to me. Like I'll be in it always is this thing where you're like, you know how it is when you're addressing a problem and it seems like the only person who can help you fix the problem is the person who has no clue what your issue is. There we go. That ought to do it. Yep. Oh, fuck me. Okay, there we go. It's this, I deal with this all the time, where it's like you'll be in the twilight zone. Like, you'll be walking around and you'll be trying to explain what is going on with some issue. And you can explain it to everybody else in your life. And everybody will go, oh yeah, that would be annoying. And then the person who can help you, you explain it to them, and they go, I don't see what the issue is. I don't know what the problem is. And I will talk to people about this, and I'll go, do you know, and I'll even look at people, and I'll go, like, do you know what I'm talking about? And then people will be like, oh, yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. And it's like, okay, because they're making it, this other person is making it sound like I'm crazy. Like this is not a thing, but it's totally a thing. The thing that I'm angry about is totally a thing. And yeah, I mean, but it happens all the time. But there will always be the one point shitter. Always a point shitter. In every single one of these things that I will complain about, there's always going to be a guy, he was the best for sure. There was, like, in every crew, that guy who perks up and just goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's never happened to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, my life is great. You know, you're like, don't you hate it when you get up and stub your toe? And they're like, I've never stubbed my toe, not one time. I have fucking toe guards on. Like, it's that asshole. It's the person who's just, it's true. It's true. There is always a point shitter. There's a fucking asshole in every group, I swear to God. And, you know, I mean, you'll bring up all these things, and they'll just be like, they'll do their best not to relate to you. I have had this happen, like, another good example. It'll happen to me all the time, where I'll go, you know, I'm looking for Dr. So-and-so, are they going to be around? And they'll look at me and go, and it's, I have to do this, just so that you know what my feeling is. It's quite literally, do you know where Dr. So-and-so is? And it's like, no. They're never here on Wednesdays. They've never been here on Wednesdays. Ever. And you just kind of go like, I am 99% sure that's not the case. You're sitting here like, can you MT Swifty? What does that mean? What does that mean? I have no idea what that fucking means. Hey, what does MT mean? And yes, I can.
Maintain it.
Yeah, sure. But I won't. I'm gonna do this though. So the thing that drives me nuts. Oh, god damn it. The thing that drives me nuts here though is that like what we'll end up doing is going around in circles, and I run into this all the time where I'm trying to explain to people. I don't think that that's always been the schedule. Like it's you're telling me that they've never been here on Wednesdays, and I'm like 99% sure that that's not a thing. And then what will end up happening is I'll find out later on in the day. It's like, oh yeah, no, they just started that schedule. But there's always that one condescending prick who's like, no, that's always been the case. This has always been the case. Yeah. So people use never and nobody when all they mean is sometimes, and what I think is a small amount of people because they're trying to make a point, which is stupid. Hyperbole, I'm glad you said that. Because hyperbole is the death of dialogue. It really is. I have no other way to... Oh, fuck me, bud. What the shit just happened? Oh, you know what? This is what happened. Watch this. Yep, there we go. Like a goddamn idiot. Hyperbole is definitely the death of dialogue, because what happens is you tell somebody that you go, you know what, I do think that sometimes just, you know, spaying or neutering your pet is just a good idea. And they go, you hate puppies. And you're like, that's not what I said. Like, I'm not talking about hating puppies or anything. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just sort of saying, like, I think it's a good idea because you want to be able to control the population because you can't care for all the puppies. It's because I like puppies that I want to spade. And it's like, nope, you just want to kill all the puppies. What you'd like to do is stomp on their heads until they're all dead. And it's like, wow, you really think that I'm like that based on what I just said? And it happens to me all the fucking time. I'm sure it happens to everybody.
Swifty, no.
Oh god, fuck. I survived. What I meant was I didn't make it. I'm sorry. That was ridiculous. Okay. So, I don't know. The whole thing that I have going on, though, in life is I actually, while I try not to be... I am not actually... It's going to sound hilarious when I say this because it's like, dude, all you've been doing is complaining. But listen, I actually don't really... generally behave very negatively at all. In fact... What the fuck is happening? I don't know if I'm dying or kicking ass. I can't tell. Oh shit. I actually am generally pretty positive, and the thing about it is the only reason I like to complain about this stuff really is to point things out to people. I'm just trying to point things out like, hey, be aware of the fact that, you know, we don't all have to be dickheads. Like, don't do this stuff. Don't do the frustrating things to people. That's all. Like, if you know you don't like it, and we all agree, like, yes, this is a shitty thing, let's not do this. Good. Let's get on board. You know? We'll punch out on doing shitty things. And we'll circle jerk each other about it later. By the way, I have a concha here, which is like a Mexican coffee cake. And I'm eating this. I don't feel bad at all. Because it's delicious. I also want to talk about robot baristas in Korea. They've had like a huge increase recently in their minimum wage, which really incentivized the creation of these robot baristas. And I'm just imagining, like, what could you do if the coffee doesn't come out right? Which happens to me all the fucking time. Oh, god damn it. Dude, where is everybody? Okay, alright. It's a weird thing though, but like, you know, number one, I'm not gonna be able to shoot the shit with anybody while I'm there getting my coffee. Then number two is like, so they fuck up my coffee or go like, I'd like a little extra cream. Like, how do you convey that to anybody? I don't know. Oh shit. Oh god damn it. Son of a bitch. Oh, fuck you, you little piece of shit. Alright. So, alright, so you say, sorry to use something political as an example, but that's like when there was a transgender guy who wanted to be a woman, who goes into sports. Oh, yes, but he or she wanted to perform with or against women, but that would give him or her a physical advantage because men are literally stronger, etc. But as soon as you mention that, people will call you transphobic pig and sexist. Yes, that is absolutely. So I think there are actually a few examples of this at some point, because there is the now pretty famous example of the sprinter who is found to be trans, and so that ended up being an issue. And then there was the issue of, I think there are now two weightlifters. I think there are two weightlifters who have been breaking world records as they were men. Oh fuck, don't knock over your concha. But like, they're breaking records because they have a competitive advantage. You were on the most one of the most powerful drugs that we know of, testosterone, for 30 fucking years, you know, and then you decided like, all right, well now I'm gonna be a woman, and that's fine. Like, you can totally do that, and it does not mean that you know, anybody hates you or that you shouldn't be allowed to compete. But we have to account for the fact that there are physiologic differences between I guess you could say it's between genders, but it's more to the point between people who have been in a, you know, heavily androgenic environment. You know, if I've been I'll vote for people, sure, why not? You know, if I've been growing up
want to consider your life choice
and kind of developing as a man, and thank you for the follow, by the way, I have a distinct advantage. I just do. We know this for a fact. You can look at fast twitch and slow twitch muscle composition. You can look at the bulk of sarcomeres. You can look at a number of things that say men physiologically have something intact that females don't. Having said that, now if you want to compete between the two genders in the same competition, this is part of the reason why you'll hear about, like, look man, if a lady wants to be a firefighter, I don't have any problem with a lady being a firefighter. I have a problem if the lady who wants to be a firefighter also expects not to meet the same physical standard. I think we can all kind of agree on that. It's like, well, you need to be able to pull some fat ass out of a burning building. I mean, if you can do it, then great. But, you know, I think what we need to actually have an honest dialogue about it and say, hey, you know, I don't hate anybody. I don't want anybody to fall off the face of the earth. I don't want to kill anybody. I'm just saying I want, I want things to be, as fair as possible, as fair as we can actually make things. I mean, true parity never really exists. And incidentally, some people are like, genetic freaks. I mean, take a look at Michael Phelps. That guy's a fucking alien. Like, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? Looks like he's built like some kind of a genetically modified fucking, what the shit? He's built like a genetically modified human being. Like, you built him for swimming, for God's sake. And he, has this tremendous physical advantage because of how he's built. So are you ever really going to completely eliminate, the lack of parity among people? Do you have to genetically test people and say, look at the bulk of their, muscle mass? But, I am saying this. There is, oh shit. There is evidence, and there are several animal studies that confirm this. Oh damn it, the animals that had a much more active lifestyle had prior, they kept them a lot more active and had them going through exercise and exposed them to testosterone, even after they stopped training, still maintained an advantage. So we know scientifically that this is definitely a problem. We just need to address it. That's all. It's doesn't have to be about hate, just has to be, how do we do this? And maybe it's about, getting tiers of, performance like athletes and saying, you qualified at this level, so you compete with other people at that level. That's fair. But whatever. So he said, I also saw this video in which a person said, would you date a transgender? Think about it. If your answer is no, I'm sorry, but you are transphobic. And I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm not going to fucking date, a monkey. But that doesn't mean I hate monkeys. I am essentially with you there. You're into what you're into, man. And by the way, those people, you're not allowed to, if you are transgender, you're not allowed to fucking complain about this because there's a whole fetish based on you, motherfucker. There are people out there who get their jollies. They get their, I am telling, this is the, this is the truth. Oh, God damn it. This is the truth. There are people who get their jollies by seeing chicks with dicks. You can't even tell me that that's like, look, man, if you're transgender, that's a whole thing I can't even get into. I can't even compete with that because I am not a chick, and so I'm not a female and have a dick. Like, I'm not a, lady boy or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I know. Well, see, that's what really drives me nuts is like, but see, I don't hate people who are into it. I don't hate anybody who's into it. I just can't relate to it. And I'm just kind of like, personally, it disgusts me. It absolutely disgusts me. But having said that, if that's what you're into, fuck. I mean, it's your life, but also like, fuck, it's your life. I don't know how to explain it. But you're into what you're into, man. But yeah, the firefighter issue really makes me sad. This overweight woman is too physically weak to join them, but she wanted them to lower standards so she could join. Right, that's the thing is, at what point, and I understand what people are saying from the perspective that is, boy, we really don't want to preclude people from being able to pursue their passions. But you need to understand something. Your inability to perform the task as it needs to be done has consequences for other people's lives. And for those people, it may be life or death. And that's what's so amazing. Wow. They've got some sharp shooters on their team. They really do. Yeah, I know. It's tough. It is. You know what's really weird is I understand when people talk about, God, I don't want to go down the road, but when people talk about this whole like, you're a white male and I actually really genuinely believe it's a fairly vocal minority of people, and I mean a vocal minority of people who really have this identity politics thing going on, where they are doing the, you know, oh, you're a straight white guy, you know, fuck you, you piece of shit. Like, I actually think that that's mostly a really vocal minority. I think some of us, there is definitely a nuanced argument to make, and I mean nuanced, about the whole, just the entire idea of white privilege, that I get certain elements of it, but I think other elements of it are being conflated. I think they are being conflated with rich privilege. Which is, let me tell you right now, I grew up poor. I am now no longer a poor person. I am now doing very well. Back in the day, I grew up poor, and everyone in my neighborhood, we were all poor together. It wasn't like, oh, that's the poor, you know, black guy, or that's the poor white guy. We were just the poor people, and we hung out and did poor people shit. I mean, we were just like, you know, and it was like, are you going to get into this school or that school? Fuck no, I'm not going to get into that school. I don't know anybody, you know. I ended up getting, so when I grew up, I ended up getting my way into an Ivy League school. It took a lot of effort, quite a bit more than I know it took a lot of the people who were in class with me. And why? Well, it's because they were connected. You know, they knew people. Wow, I totally beat her. I need to clip that shit. Fuck. But, you know, I mean, I had to work really hard to do that, and it was, you know, a lot of people in my neighborhood, I mean, they were of all sorts of different backgrounds. They were like, bro, you're not getting anywhere. You're not leaving. None of us are leaving, because that's not how this works. And you know what? Probably what? 80% of the time, they're probably right. And you know, I mean, the thing about it is like, you certainly don't feel privileged when you're being turned down for shit left and right all the time. And I will definitely tell you that when I did this thing called the Teen Leadership Program, and this was, mind you, this was back when I was 13 years old, so this is like, oh fuck man, about 18 years ago. I'm getting old. I was 13 years old, and I did everything. Like, I did this whole thing where the idea was you would be given some kind of like, I don't know, some sort of position in some kind of pseudo government of some sort. Like, I don't remember all the details of the program, but the idea was like you had to qualify for this thing. So you had to do a bunch of prereqs, like you had to do, you know, a bunch of extracurriculars. You had to be academically, you know, outstanding and all this other shit. They actually asked you for like volunteer work and all kinds of stuff. And what ended up happening, oh god damn it, what ended up happening is I got all the way to the end, and they told me that they didn't take me because they were looking for a Native American female. I mean, this, you know, again, this is 18 years ago. But they told me, you know, we're not going to take you because you're not a Native American female. Which, I understand the thing, this is the thing, is like, I think we could all agree that we would like a meritocracy. I think we would. Meritocracy is a good thing. It's you know, I'm going to pick you based on your merit. And that would be good. When people tell me about like, well, you have to understand you were not necessarily part of an oppressed group, and therefore that puts you in a different position. I think at that point, you are actually talking to me about, you know what, that was a waste of an ult. You are talking to me about I think a very, again, hyperbolic argument. And you're making a hyperbolic argument because at a certain point, you have to understand, a lot of people have circumstances. They have a lot of circumstances that may have put their lives in a horrible situation. Good example. You may have had somebody who gets in a horrible accident, right? They get in a horrible accident and they can't work anymore, or they are in a coma for 10 years. And the effect is felt on their family. Like, let's say they have a kid and now they're, oh shit, he was behind me the whole time. And let's say that this person, they are no longer able to you know, teach their kids what they need to teach them. They can't work anymore, so they can't earn a living. So now they're on disability, okay? So now I have this person on disability. Oh, and if you can hear me, by the way, thanks for clipping that. I appreciate that. Okay, so now the trajectory of that family that was before doing really well, that family has been completely derailed. Now here is where I am saying, okay, so circumstances, you can't always compensate for people's individual circumstances. You're going to have things that will throw them the fuck off. Here's where I am a little bit in the devil's advocate of the privilege argument. There is something to be said about stereotypes that, whether or not they are accurate, whether or not you are going to be held to a certain stereotype, you just will be. And I do know what it is, because I've had buddies who have gone through this, who are, you know, black dudes who's like, yeah, they you know, people go to the other side of the fucking street when they see me coming. That absolutely happens, and I've seen it happen, and I've been like, what the fuck? But, you know, that's where I say, okay, that's where there is something, right? That's a legit thing. The question is, what do you do about that? And I don't know if the answer is ever... I mean, it's hard to know what the answer is. I'll put it that way. It's hard to know what the answer is, because there are a lot of ways to help out groups, a lot, that are not necessarily just like, I'm going to step all over and shit all over this other group over here. That's not the right way to go about things. 100% not the right way. I don't buy into it. Why am I the only... Where the fuck... What? What just happened? Oh my god. God damn it. Oh, I can't relate to racism. Here in the Netherlands, there's barely any racism. Wow. You know, here's the thing that's interesting. So, I have to ask this question, though. You're in the Netherlands. How homogeneous is your population? Meaning, how likely are you to run into somebody of a different ethnic background? That's a legitimate question. I don't know. Because the thing about it is like, I'll be perfectly honest, in a place like where I was from in Arizona, it's in southwestern United States, there was such a mix of everybody that usually racism wasn't a big problem, because you were all kind of, you grew up together, you were integrated, you were all kind of, you know, it really was a lot more economic than anything else. It was economic. But actually, the people who talk about, like, when you talk about all this, like, you know, oh, what the fuck was that guy doing? Oh shit, oh shit. Alright, there we go. when you talk about the folks who mostly advocate for this shit, though, like, and I'm saying the people who are really talking about, like, we need to do something about these groups. We need to do something about these mini groups, and, like, we need to lift them up. They aren't the members of the group saying that. They're fucking Rich Whitey. I mean, that's who's saying that. People in my neighborhood are saying that, and it's like, bro, you've never been poor. You have no idea. And I will tell you this, as somebody who grew up without necessarily living a very opulent lifestyle where, hey, you didn't get to go on vacations. You know, you didn't get to do any of that cool shit that other people get to do. You didn't drive nice cars. You didn't have new stuff. You didn't buy new shoes. Like, I will definitely tell you that is not the issue. Like, yeah, I'm just looking at it as, you know, everybody they're boiling this down way too much. We were not necessarily, in my neighborhood, they were not necessarily the nicest people on the planet. Like, they do this move where they're like, you know, these poor people, they're just trying to get by. Fuck that. Most of the poor people I knew were sacks of shit. I will say that until the poor people I knew were sacks of shit. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is a sack of shit, but I am saying this thing where it's like, oh no, just they just need a help out. Like, they just need a helping hand. Now, your question is, why were they a sack of shit? Well, a lot of them were, you know, like, they came from drug addicted homes. So a lot of their family were drug addicts or whatever, and all they did was spend all their time just thinking about how to game the system. I'm voting for me. That's true. I mean, most people are kind of sacks of garbage. You are right about that. I will not necessarily argue that. Okay, so you're saying I lived in an area with 2 schools that are immigrants that haven't learned Dutch yet in my classroom. Okay. 6 white people and 19 black and brown. Okay, all right, there you go. I don't know. I mean, I've never been to the Netherlands. But I will definitely say I am not at all, you know, in this camp of like, oh, just everybody just needs a, you know, all we need is a helping hand. Like, holy shit, you don't need to give people necessarily a check, because most of those folks I know, if you gave them a check, I'd love to do a reality show on it, frankly, where you go in and you like, okay, you tell me, you just go to those guys and you just say, you tell me what you need and we will provide every resource to make that happen for you. And I guarantee they blow it. And it's because there's a screw that's not quite, you know, they got a loose gasket, man. They got a loose gasket. And what I'm referring to is not that they're bad people or subhuman or whatever. I'm referring to the idea that it's just upbringing. It's like you just need to have certain values. You just have to have a certain like disposition. Like, okay, here's what it takes to work hard. Just certain values. That's all. Oh shit, dude. 5 a.m. struggles and it's late. So like, if you've been up all night, Jesus Christ, bud. I can't live that life anymore. I really can't. I can't do that thing where I stay up like all night. I don't feel right. I don't feel right anymore. I used to do that crap all the time. There was a period of time when if I got to bed by like 2 a.m., that was an early night, and I'd be like, oh yeah, my life's coming together. I was a fucking mess. Yeah, you're right, exactly. Oh, god damn it, fuck. Yeah, 18 18 was a great time. I am old. Now here's the thing. I remember, so when I was about 22, I was in school and doing my whole, I was getting a couple of degrees. My undergraduate degrees were in mathematics and physics. I had horrible work. Horrible. And I did not have any time for fun. At all. Okay, this is good because it's relevant. It's relevant to what I'm talking about because you feel like your life is falling the fuck apart, but it's fine because you can do that. You can do that. You're at an age. If you said that if you're a 28-year-old man and you were like, yeah, I woke up 5 p.m. and it's not because you worked the night shift, but because your life's a fucking mess. Wait, this would be a very different discussion. But when I was in college, I had absolutely no time. And I didn't want to have to run into people. Like, legitimately, there came a point where I was just like, look, I have an early class, and if I run into people, it's going to slow down my ability to do homework. So I did this thing where instead I would go to bed, like, it would be like 2 in the afternoon, and I woke up at like 10 o'clock at night. And I used to, I was always really into fitness. And so, oh fuck, everybody died. So I would go into the gym early in the morning. And there was a security guard who I'd walk in and shoot the shit. Speaking of it, black guys, big black dude, just like best guy ever. And I'm talking to him and he's like, man, for a guy your age, you have your shit together. I mean, he would be like, you've got your stuff, and I didn't correct him or anything. I was like, wow, I appreciate that. But actually, little did he know, not only did I not have my shit together, but it was so far out of whack that it'd come back around. I'm getting to the gym at, when it opened at freaking, 6 in the morning or whatever. I was getting there at that time, not because my shit was together, but because that was my dinner time. Like, I had a class. I had a class at like 7. So, it was like, oh man, my goddamn life. My goddamn life. So, I don't know. I can definitely, I remember those days, but holy shit. I don't know what happened, but at some point, like the old man gene kicks in. Oh fuck. At some point, like, the old man gene kicks in. That's what you're living right now. When your old man gene kicks in, you're just like, boy, that ruined my whole day. Oh boy, that ruined my whole day. I'm just not going to be right the rest of the day. My stomach just doesn't feel right. Just all day. My digestion, nope. Just got to get a good night's sleep. And then you start talking to people about, like, the quality of sheets that you have and, like, what kind of bed you have. And, like, when I was 18, I was like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, if somebody mentioned to me, at that age, if somebody mentioned to me, like, one day I'll be talking about what kind of bed, and it'll be important to me, what kind of bed, I could fall asleep anywhere. I once went to a party. I was so bad at partying that I once went to a party and fell asleep at that party at some stranger's house on their deck. Yeah, right. When you have to get up in the middle of the night. It's true. Prostate problems, dude. Prostate problems. Now, luckily, I don't have those problems yet. But these are the things. These are the things. You definitely have that shit to look forward to. I felt like justice rained from above there. Yeah. Fuck, I'm playing horribly. I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing that badly. Maybe I'm just the compositions are not good. I had gold E-limbs. Yeah. Oh, there. Speak of the devil. Tarbjard. But But yeah, you have all this shit kick in. Like, I wouldn't be talking about that stuff. I'd be like, dude, I don't need to worry about my sheets. Like, I'll just give me whatever the fuck you have. I'll be fine. It's amazing. You're like a superhero when you're that age. You're like a superhero. But I can't emphasize enough the importance of taking care of yourself, because I am in a condition right now that a lot of people my age go, how do you do it? And my answer to them is, can you go back in time and take better care of yourself when you were growing up? Because Jesus Christ, somebody going from, oh, I wasn't active and I wasn't taking good care of myself, to then making a shift. There's a metabolic shift that happens somewhere in there between 27 and 30. And you want to make sure you're not starting from zero. Yep, took 5 shots in 1 minute, and there you go. Can't remember anything. Yeah, there you go. Those are the stories, man. That's the shit. That's the shit that happens. I am I remember so many wacky stories. From college, and they were just... You know what? It's funny. You know when people... Okay, so when people reminisce about the old days, like they do this thing, and I get it. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to mention this. Here's a weird thing. Okay, that dude's bouncing around like crazy. I don't know if it was him or me. But here's the thing. Oh, God damn it. Hold on. I'm going to try to focus for a second. Just, I want to not die here. Oh, fuck, bud. Sweet baby Jesus. Yes! We're gonna win this. I like me a good... Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Alright. You know when old people... Alright, so old people get together, and here's what's interesting. People who make a good living and are happy with their lives. And accomplish something and feel like they have a satisfying lifestyle. They never do this weird thing where they talk about the glory days of high school, all right? It doesn't happen. It's only the people who's like, yeah, he peaked in life when he was the captain of the football team, which is super sad because it's a big old Zippo. It's like, really, were you captain of the football team? The thing that I always say, though, is like, people will talk about the days of partying, and they were good times. Don't get me wrong. Like, the days of being in college, they were good times, for the most part. But fuck no, I wouldn't want to go back there. I mean, I don't envy that at all. Like, I don't want that at all. There's no goddamn way. Oh, goddamn it. But I woke up in a shirt that wasn't mine in a bedroom I had never seen before with puke all over my pants, and that was when I rolled over and my friends were laughing their ass. Yeah, that's... God, I just joined the game and I had gold objective kills. I have a feeling they were a shit show. Yeah, I don't envy that. I don't want to be back there. Like, I lived in a fucking 300 square foot piece of shit. Just it was, and everybody was every person's life was more like ridiculous than the last. You just keep running into foot. Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but I can see you have a receding hairline. Pretty much my entire family has receding hairline, and it looks like I will too. Was it hard for you to... No, not at all. I as a matter of fact, I don't give a shit at all. And yeah, you don't have to worry about that. I don't. I know a lot of. There are dudes. There are totally dudes out there who get really super sensitive. No. Matter of fact, true story. When I felt like I was losing my hair, which it is not entirely gone, but when I saw that I was losing my hair, I went, well, shit, I should just start shaving my head. And my lady actually was like, no, don't shave your head. If I could go back in time and start shaving my head, like back before I was losing my hair, I would totally do it. I'm not kidding. I would totally do it. It was, I'm not gonna lie, day 1 and day 2 felt weird, but I love it. I love shaving my head. I really do. It is so nice. It's always clean. It's always, you know, I have a very, you know, I mean, obviously it's going to depend a little bit on your head, right? A little bit. But, like, I always thought I had a weird shaped head, but it actually turned out okay. Like, I don't mind at all. And most people say that I have, you know, a good look with, you know, shaved head, and it's comfortable and shit. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a, it's a good look. It's a look, you know. I think mostly when guys are talking about, like, they wish they had hair, they're doing weird comb over shit, that's their own insecurity. I don't think there's anyone walking around going, oh fuck, there's that bald guy, fuck him and he looks stupid. Like, nobody does that. I haven't had any problems. Yeah, I had to be careful. That's dangerous territory. Yeah. I totally get it. There are definitely dudes. There are dudes who get pretty upset. They're like, how dare you? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Or they'll tell you, like, no, don't worry, I'm using some hair products to regrow it. It's like, fuck it, dude. Shave your head. Just get it, you know, just grow a pair and fucking shave your head. Who gives a shit? You know, and of course, ladies, the thing that ladies find most attractive in guys anyway ends up being like 90% the fact that you have swagger. Seriously. You know how many ugly guys I know who scored the hottest chicks despite the fact that they were ugly? I mean, they were fucking funny, they were confident, and it was just like, who gives a shit? No, I wouldn't worry about it at all. At all. It's not even a thing. It's just a big old Zippo. It's something that you build up in your own mind as being important. In the same way, alright, I'll give you a good example. I was, of course I'm still definitely a guy who does a decent amount of weightlifting, pretty good amount. But I used to be really into weightlifting, and I would be like, man, I want to get jacked and like all this other stuff, and that was like that was what I really wanted to do, is I really wanted to be just jacked, and I put all this work into it, and then at some point I realized that it was quite literally just a bunch of us dudes getting together and we're all hanging out talking about like getting them sick gains, and then I realized, like, oh, ladies don't care, like, not nearly as much. As a matter of fact, they were like, no, you look fine, you look good. It was like, okay, I just thought like being really super ripped would be, and you're always gonna have those people. I mean, you will absolutely have, you know, those ladies who will be like, oh man, I just love a dude who's completely ridiculously jacked. But the vast majority do not care nearly to the extent that you do. It is totally a weird guy thing though. It is like you go through a phase in your life when you're like, I need to be the most built, badass motherfucker, and it's like that's only for you because nobody actually gives a shit. It's just you. And at some point, that gene, whatever it is, turns off, and you go, I don't even know what I was doing. I really am into this for health. I need to worry about my, that I don't blow out my knees, or that I don't that I'm not unhealthy or have a back injury that ruins my fucking life. Like, you'll just realize that it's just all horseshit. I'm awkward and insecure, not even talking down to myself. I'm aware of the flaws and fine with them. That's fine. I am totally in that camp of just kind of being, it's like I'm not gonna, I've always kind of had a little bit of the, I guess you could say, the gift of gab a little bit, and but I did not. There was quite a period of time in my life when I would not. What's a good way to put it? There's a difference between being able to talk to people and just people going, would you please shut the fuck up? Like, and I could not figure out, for the life of me, I could not figure out the difference between those things. Could not figure it out. So what happened is, like, people would be at first kind of going, okay, this seems like a nice guy and he seems kind of interesting. And then next thing you know, they would never want to talk to me again. And I was always confused. I would be like, why in the fuck? Why is nobody talking to me? Like, why does nobody want to talk to me? Fuck. I'm going to knock over this plate. And at some point I just realized, like, oh, it's because I'm a douche. Like, I couldn't figure it out. Like, for the longest time, I just couldn't figure it out. And it wasn't necessarily that I was, like, a bad guy or anything. It was the fact that I would just kind of make... There's a certain feel to, like, okay, I'm okay to make this joke, or I'm okay to make this comment. And I just didn't seem to have that dialed in right for a long time. And, just people just wouldn't want to hang out with you, and they wouldn't invite you to stuff, and, guys wouldn't act the same around you. Like, they would all be friends with everybody else, so they weren't friends with me. And it was sort of, at some point, I kind of figured out, okay, here's what happened. Then you get it squared away, and you kind of go, okay, I realize that I'm awkward, but I'm going to make this, I'm going to play it to my advantage. So these days, I don't try to be anything that I'm not anymore, which was something, I did try to do. Although a certain amount of life, seriously, a certain amount of life is just saying to people, I'm going to act as if, meaning you take you have a goal of who you want to be and who you're going to be. And you start acting the part a little bit. And that is, it feels awkward and it feels strange, but the more you do that and the more reps you get in kind of saying, I am going to be the kind of person I want to be, does not do this. The kind of person I want to be does not show up late. The kind of person I'd like to be is somebody who is interesting and has interesting things to talk about. And so it's at that point, and god damn it, so much of life is having something interesting to talk about. Not much of a talker IRL. Well, that's fine. I don't think you need to be. I think you just need to be, I think that most people just kind of go, all right, great. As long as you're somebody who's pretty chill and, you're not really causing any issues, I don't think that it's necessarily a problem that you're not a talker. In my opinion. Oh, fuck. Please don't die. All right. Yeah. I think mostly people are just looking for folks not to be a jerk. That's really mostly it. And you kind of do this thing, and I know I definitely went through this phase, and fuck, probably my whole school went through this phase. Everybody was a douche to each other. And I don't think anybody actually wanted to be a douche to each other. I think they thought that's what they needed to do. It was like, I guess I have to be a douche. Like, you know, I guess I need to be like, because that's what they're doing, so I guess I should be a jerk. And I mean, it was actually kind of sad. Like the school, the school had so many. Why did I do that? The school had so many people. It was like a culture of just being an asshat. It really was. It was like, wow, man, that was a real prick move, and I don't think anybody actually wanted it. Like after hours, and you'd run into somebody at the library, they were a completely different person, and it was like, what the fuck? It was weird. I swear to God that's how it was, though. Oh God, please. Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. All right. I just start giving compliments more often, be less sarcastic, don't act like I hate people when I actually kind of like them. Will I eventually just be a nice person? It kind of does happen that way. I mean, look, it may sound stupid, but I promise you this. If you get up in the morning and you just do repetitions of today sucks, this sucks, everything sucks, magically you're in a shit mood. I mean, it really does happen that way, that people don't necessarily appreciate the fact that if you keep doing reps of this is horrible and everything's horrible, you'll think that everything is horrible. I mean, it makes perfect sense that it would go that way, because that's what's coming out of your mouth. That's what you're constantly reinforcing. And the more you add positivity, you'd be surprised that your mood improves. I mean, again, this is all based on my life experience, but it really is the difference between having a terrible day and having a good day is quite literally a choice of how you're going to take things and how you're going to react. Because you have a choice. You have a choice to make something, you know, you can choose for your day to be fucking horrible. Like if somebody says something to you that you kind of don't like, instead of you blowing it off or going, maybe they're having a bad morning, and you decide to go, well, fuck you, asshole. Well, guess what? Your day is going to get worse, because they're going to respond to that too, and other people are going to see that and be like, I don't want to talk to that guy. It really is a chain of events. It is a chain of events. If you know, it's one good turn deserves another. If somebody, you know, turns around and says, you know, I see that you were behaving really nicely, or hey, you complimented that person. Next thing you know, somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you know what, man, you want to come sit over here, or do you want to, you know, would you like to have this sandwich, or, you know, whatever. Like, seriously, I have been in situations where just because I try to be positive all the time, I'll have people come and they'll invite me to things. I'll get, you know, free shit. I am super nice to people at restaurants and all the time, and I always try to be really positive to those people. And you know, I get free stuff all the time. Just because I'm like, hey, you know what, you look nice today. Or wow, this really, you know, I'll notice people's hair and I'll say, wow, did you change your hair? And then they'll say yes, and I'll go, me too. And it always gets a laugh. I mean, fuck, I don't know. I'm just saying, being gregarious and being kind, not only does it not cost you anything, it makes you feel better, and people react better toward you. And everyone around you becomes more positive, and the people who are negative, shitty people, they start dropping off, because they're like, I can't even hang out with you anymore. I don't even relate to your positivity. It's like, you don't want those people in your life. Like, let them go. it's kind of hard for me to explain these things because I have to use complicated words, and English is not my first language, but yes, I get it. Yeah. It is, yeah. So everything can become a habit because you need consistency. It's very true. It's very true. Your personality, for lack of a better term, your personality is kind of a habit. That joke over 1,000 times with my single dad being bald, yeah. I love any kind of stupid, corny fucking joke that I can muster. Like if somebody can come out with, you know, if somebody can pop out with a horrible joke that, you know, I will absolutely, I just throw high fives and I groan and I go, God damn it, you're the best. Because here's my question. Why not laugh? You have all the emotions that you have in the world, all the things, all the ways that you can react to things, and you decide to be a piece of shit instead. Why not laugh, right? That's the way I feel about it. Now, maybe that's just me. And I'm not saying you need to laugh at a funeral, but I am saying of all the things to bring to the table, if you're interacting with people, if you're trying to, you know, if you're trying to bring something to the social table, so to speak, of all the ways that you can do it, why wouldn't you do it with humor? Everybody likes to laugh. There's not one person out there who gets done belly laughing and goes, ah, fuck you, you piece of shit, you made me laugh. God damn it. Everybody's into that. And frankly, you feel better for it, and it's not necessarily, you know, I'm not saying you need to walk around being a comedian, but like, why be unpleasant? That's really what it comes down to. Is you're alive, your life is very finite, and life and time is very finite. And, you know, for us, you don't live forever. Why not enjoy yourself, for God's sake? I mean, fuck. I say it all the time, like, just enjoy the fucking day. Like, wake up and realize what a time it is to be alive. What a gift. And it truly, I mean, I'm sitting here, you're sitting in the Netherlands, right? You personally are sitting in the Netherlands. Don't know, you know, anybody else who may be seeing this, where they're sitting. And we're relaying ideas to each other in near real time. Like, that's fucking astounding. If I need something, I can pop on to, you know, Amazon and buy, uh-oh, my little Echo device started talking to me. I live in it just talked to me. It's a dystopian universe. It's a dystopian device. One day in the future, it's going to take over the world. But, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing time to be alive, and fuck, man, it's such a gift. Like, I just think about this all the time. Like, nobody else had the opportunity in life, you know, to sit down and play a video game and piss away their time. They're too busy trying to grow food and shit. I mean, it's an amazing time to be alive. Love it. Love it. Every day is better than the last for me. Love it. Every time I hear blank is finite, I have to think of Thanos. Oh, that's funny. You know what? I'm about to be that guy. I don't know jack dick about any of those things. I don't know any. Like, I wish I could tell you I had any experience at all. Like, I haven't really watched any of them. And I know I'm the one person on the planet who's not, but I don't. I'm trying to put together a sentence. I can't. It won't, and it doesn't. I'm not a superhero guy. I've just never been a superhero guy. I don't get it. And I'm not saying that like it's stupid and nobody should do it. I'm just saying for me personally, it's not. I don't understand. And I hate that whenever I say something about the and then in the middle of my explanation to a friend or something, she goes, "The koala bear is an animal that." Yeah, I know, it's fucking true. It's fucking true. You're absolutely right. It is, and it's weird when she'll chime in during conversations that don't have anything to do. Like you've never even said a syllable that sounds like it, and it's like, holy shit, it's talking to me. Like, it makes you feel like maybe this is a bad idea. And then you go buy another one because it's cool. No, I don't. I don't watch Marvel movies. Now, here's the thing. I have seen, like, you know, I saw Iron Man, and I've seen, like, all the pieces together to see, like, I think Iron Man 2 or, like, and I've seen bits and pieces of, like, the Thor Ragnarok and, like, I don't know. But you know, I'm not saying, yeah, so Darth Vader, yes. Darth Vader helmet, that Darth Vader helmet is a kettlebell, actually. It is a 70-pound kettlebell. It's the coolest fucking kettlebell of all time. Seriously, I am a huge fan of that goddamn kettlebell. It really is maybe like the coolest kettlebell I've ever used. They make some that are like gorillas and stuff, and that's cool, but like Darth Vader? Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm not, here's the thing. Here's the thing about superheroes. Because I don't have a problem, like, if anything, I'd be more of a Batman kind of guy, and this argument has been made 10 billion times. Yeah, here I'm sitting about talking about my pizza tastes a little burnt. Suddenly she goes, okay, fuck off. That's right. It's true. It's true. The thing about superheroes is that it's like, imagine a universe where there's a super fucking powerful guy. And you go, alright. Oh yeah. And he popped up out of fucking nowhere. Like his ass just, boom, right out of the ground. And then there's just another super fucking powerful guy who opposes him. And then they fight. And that's superheroes. Jedi and Sith are kind of like superheroes, though. I do not see that, no. Because you could train people to become... Like, I can't train anybody to become Thor. Like, I can't train anybody... The idea behind Jedi is that it was kind of like a martial art, and you kind of had to have some sort of genetic predisposition. And incidentally, I was a fan of, like, original Star Wars, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a fan of all the like the crazy franchising they've done recently. Han Solo movie, like fuck. Yeah, the whole thing that I have about Jedi versus, let's say, a superhero. I mean, other than the fact that, you know, you can train them in this sort of art, is that they also had very finite powers, and they were not necessarily... There was a rhyme and a reason to their existence and that sort of thing. Yeah, we have origin stories of Spider-Man, or it's like a radioactive spider, and it's like, really? You mean to tell me he didn't get, you know, fucking, you know, neuropathy and his organs didn't start melting, getting a super high dose of radiation or anything? You're just telling me that he's just, you know, and you know, look, I'm not gonna shit all over their idea of how they wanted to build a superhero. I'm just saying the concept itself doesn't appeal to me. Like, you're just telling me that there's just some super powerful person. And what do? Well, this is the life and times a super powerful guy. And by the way, he's just gonna fight another powerful guy who just doesn't like him, who just wants to tear shit apart. It's like, okay, all right, I get it. We're bored. Understood. It's an excuse to have a conflict. It really is. It's just like, I need a conflict. I know. That's all I'm saying. But yes, I mean, look. Superheroes are fine. Everybody can enjoy superheroes. I just personally don't understand the concept of, like, I'm just going to have these people with random powers. And I'm not going to explain them at all. It's just going to be like, they're just going to have powers. Like, you're trying to explain the Hulk. My nephew loves the Hulk because it's just a big, strong guy. He also loves King Kong. And he loves gorillas. And he basically just loves all things that little boys would love. I mean, he's just sort of like, yeah, what does it punch things? And, you know, whatever. That's it. That's like the extent of his interest. And so when he's like, yeah, I like, you know, I like Thor, or, you know, whatever. He likes Thor because it's a big muscly guy who punches shit. And, like, I get it, but, you know, I'm a grown-ass man, so, I mean, that doesn't really appeal to me. And I don't really, but, you know, I'm not necessarily saying, though, that there isn't some deeper reason. I think some of these guys who grew up, some of the guys who grew up with the comic books and read them, I mean, in my family, I didn't. And the reason I never read any comic books is because, frankly, they wouldn't spend the money on it. That's legit. Like, maybe I'd feel different about it if I actually, you know, grew up with that stuff. But because I never really participated, it just doesn't appeal to me today. I did have a weird boner for Superman when I was a little kid, because who doesn't like the idea of a guy who's just like invincible in a hero? But then I grew up. I don't know. I just sort of like, well, but like I said, Batman is interesting to me. That's at least intriguing. Things about Batman are intriguing to me. But I also prefer to live in the sort of realm of reality, so I don't really delve too much into like the story of Batman or anything, because it's like, well, I don't really need to know. I've always been this kind of guy when it comes to this stuff. I'm not into like the origin shit. The like, all right, let's find out what's going on, or let's get deep into this story. It's like, I don't want to invest the energy in learning about a fake universe. Like, if I'm going to be spending time learning about a universe, it should be hours. I'm not going to spend any time on fake universe. I'm busy. I got shit to do. I mean, but then again, I have a lot of hobbies that involve, you know, kind of real things. So, like, my outlet is gaming. My one kind of fake outlet is gaming. Other than that, I'm like, you know, woodworking and all that other shit. Rhea Johnson, or whatever the fucking trash bag that was behind The Last Jedi was called, had never ever seen a Star Wars movie, and he rewrote the entire script that J.J. Abrams made for him. Holy fuck, dude. That's horrible. I didn't know that, but that's fucking horrible. Jesus Christ. That's just awful. Could you imagine being that much of an egomaniac, by the way? That's how you're wired? Like, you're just gonna go, you know what? I've never seen a Star Wars movie, but how hard could it be? And then you just like, I'm just gonna fuck up this whole series. Like, I don't give a shit. Yeah. He said, well, your criticism of superheroes is very understandable, but that is exactly why the recent Avengers movies are so damn popular and loved. For one of the first times, the heroes and villain are really good and logical backstory. And especially the villain Thanos, throughout the two movies, and like with most villains, you really understand his point of view. And he actually sheds tears as well, so you feel bad for him at times. That is interesting. Really well written. I've heard that. And that's also kind of the reason, though, that I am reserving judgment. Once again, I'm not a point shitter. That's what I'm telling you. I am not a point shitter. I am not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that the concept of superheroes in general is not appealing to me. Having said that, does not mean I couldn't appreciate a good story. And I probably will, at some point, I probably will watch the movie. It's just, so it's a weird thing. As I have, I hate to make this, I sound like fucking, sound like fucking Pops Compton over here, but I mean, I'm bringing this up. As I got older, I just didn't want to really go to movies. And I'll tell you why. It doesn't have to do with the fact that, like, I think movies are terrible or nobody, you know, should see them. I legit have a lot of hobbies. So when I say that I have a lot of things that I am doing, it is, I have a lot of stuff. Like, as a good general rule, I am always working on something of some variety. And I mean, I like to do stuff with wood carving, carpentry, and wood burning, graphite art, ink art, robotics, and all kind. I mean, I play piano. Like, I'm always working on something. And when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, man, how would you like to go hang out and stare at a screen for 2 hours?" I just go, "Fuck no. I'm too big. 2 hours of just sitting and staring? Like, I can't do it. I can't do it." With video games, because here's the other thing. Because I don't get to, you know, so there's time for everything, right? So I have like a space where I play games. And I usually play games as I'm going to bed, or on Fridays when I'm doing this stream, or, you know, if I have extra time during the week and I feel like, okay, in between, I'll work on something. I will sit and play a game. Playing a game for me is at least input, and it's stimulating, and I'm doing something, and I'm getting something. When I'm just watching a movie, it exists independent of me. And that bothers me at this phase of my life. It did not bother me most of my life. It bothers me now. An occasional movie is fine. But I definitely, I've gotten to a weird place where now I have movies on as I'm doing something else. And it's not like, oh, I need to have a bunch of shit going at the same time. It's more, I want to be, you know, working on artwork and have a movie going or something, you know, something like that. So that's how I feel about it. Where are you going, asshole? Where are you going? Aha! Ah, I ruined his day. Oh! Yeah, I'm stopping the train. Stopping the train. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Nope. No, fuck. This is gonna be a problem. Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, the last two Avengers movies ever, the ones with Thanos, go against a lot of typical superhero movie stereotypes. They're so good, and a lot of good humor as well. But yeah, I understand what you mean. I can't relate, though. I have a ton of free time. Fuck. I remember those days. Enjoy the fuck out of that, dude. Seriously. Enjoy the fuck out of that. And you should. Because, you know what? Any person who tells you you need to knuckle down and do more work, tell them to go fuck themselves, because you have your entire life where you'll be working. Yes, you need to get things done. Yes, you need to plan out a career, whatever the fuck you guys do in the Netherlands. I don't know. But, holy shit. Like I said, finite time, and you have this, like, little window where it's like, what you do has almost no consequence because you're young. And so it's like, oh, hey, look at, I'm playing the game. What did I do? I don't even know. I'm sitting here rambling. Yeah, that was a good play. Okay. So far, so good. All right. Yeah, we shot some shit. Yeah. All right. Well, good. But, like, yeah, you need to do stuff and, yes, invest in yourself, meaning, you know, put in the work you need in order to, you know, develop yourself into an interesting person. I tell people who are fucking, you know, 45 years old, invest in your intellectual retirement fund. And I'll tell you what that means. You invest in your intellectual retirement fund means get into a lot of crap, even if you don't know what you're doing. Just get into crap. Start doing it, and just start doing it. And people will go, do you know what you're doing? And you go, no, but I'm going to find out as I'm trying to do it. And just start doing stuff. And the reason that's important is that as you grow up and you have less and less time necessarily to invest in just sort of shit in general, you're not going to want to start getting good at something when you're an old, like the way I always look at it is, sure, is it fine to want to sit down? Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a guy who doesn't watch any movies or series. I'm a guy who doesn't like to just sit down and watch movies and series. There's a nuance in there. I will absolutely sit down and put on a Rick and Morty episode for sure. For sure. And I'll be doing something, you know. Actually, usually I'm, you know, reading or drawing or, you know, something. But I'm always doing something, man. Programming, whatever. But yeah, you don't want to be, and I'm not saying it's not a good idea when you're, you know, 60 years old to want to sit and play a violin or something, and you want to learn to play a violin. But you're going to feel a lot better about it and probably feel a lot less depressed about your situation if you can sit down and bust out a great tune and everybody loves Grandpa's playing. And it makes for your life being a whole lot more interesting. And that's part of what I like to do is I like to, you know, say, okay, I'm going to jump into doing stuff and I'm just going to learn it because it makes me not only more interesting and have, you know, more things to relate to people, because I can't necessarily relate through like sports and shit. You know, yeah, you don't want to know how much time I invested, but you kind of get away with it. I mean, you do. You get away with it for a while, and a lot of people get away from it. Fuck, most adults I know put ungodly amounts of time. Ungodly. I was actually upset at people when they were telling me how much effort they put into Game of Thrones. And when I say effort, I mean like they weren't just telling me, oh, yeah, I should probably be Mercy. We need a strong healer here. I don't just mean like you're just watching the show and you're trying to like, you know, put in some like, oh, I'd like to know what's happening here. We're talking about like they're thinking about Game of Thrones, they're writing about it, they're discussing it, and I go like, did you know there was an election in France? And they'll just be like, no. And it's like, what in the fuck are you doing talking all day long about a fictional place? All day. Like, I understand the thing where you want to see the series. Good on you. Like, great. But really? We're going to talk about it? Like, we're going to sit, you know, when somebody's like, what do you think, you know, Jon Snow was thinking during this point? You know, like, what was Jon Snow doing? And you do this thing where you're like, I will tell you what Jon Snow was thinking. Literally fucking nothing, because it isn't a real guy. Let's move on, shall we? I mean, it's literally all made up, and it doesn't matter. Like, that's what I'm trying to understand, is where are we? Why is my priority set so different? And I'm not, again, enjoy the series, but let's put in a proportional amount of effort. Like, let's not sink all our time into it. Let's just sink the time it takes to watch the show and maybe have a couple laughs about it. And that's good. And we don't need to pontificate and have fan theories and it's like, fuck all that. Pull your shit together. Get another hobby, for God's sake. Unless writing is your hobby, in which case, then write something original. But, I mean, fuck me. That's all. I hate it when people say I don't care what people think of me because it's literally the only thing you do. Everybody does. Yes. Yes. I think that is... Oh, shit. I should probably... No, I'm not going to revive. What were you thinking, bro? You put yourself out in the middle of fuck all. And of course you're not going to survive. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Come on. Just get the just get over. Oh my God, Jesus. Yeah, the thing about people, like when they say, I don't care what people think, they're saying that, ironically, in a sort of conforming kind of way. And I'll explain what I mean by that. When you say you don't care what somebody thinks of you, that was not the person I wanted to revive. Oh well. God damn it. I think I just basically I staggered us more, is what I did. Because I wanted to Rhine, and I didn't do it. So I'm going to hang out in here. So what those people are doing, when I say I don't give a shit what you think, they are appealing to a person who likes the idea that you don't care what other people think. Now, not caring what people think, let me explain the distinction here, because this is important. This is me. I love that I'm fucking pontificating and philosophizing about the universe. I don't know if anybody gives a shit, but I'm going to say this, okay? There is a distinction between not caring what people think and caring that you are a member of society. So, so the distinction is, I don't care whether or not you think I'm cool. I really don't. I genuinely do not care if you think I am cool. However, I don't want you to feel like I am not interested in you as a human being, or that, you are unimportant, or that you don't serve any purpose. So in other words, while I don't care what your opinion, okay, so you may, you may not like necessarily the kind of, opinions I have about something, let's just say. And I tell you what that is, and then you go, I don't care for that, I don't like that. I may not care that you think that. And I may not care that anybody, agrees. But if that puts me on an island socially, and I am now an outcast, now I have to take an interest. So, do you care what people think? Not entirely, right? You don't entirely care what people think. You sort of care. You sort of care that you're not necessarily outside what would be called the Overton window of society. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it's the idea that certain things are within the lexicon of discussion that are socially acceptable. Meaning, if I start talking about like, the best thing ever is sawing the heads off of babies, people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And that would basically be universal. Now, if you think about that, and you go like, well, of course it's socially unacceptable for you to want to saw the heads off of babies. And I could, if I wanted to be completely obtuse, I could, of course, ask you the question. I could just be like, well, why is that? Why is it unacceptable to saw the heads off babies? And we could sit here and have a stupid argument about it, or we could just accept that, yes, you're right. It's not a good idea. And it would make me insane if I, for some reason, you know, thought that this was a good idea. So do I necessarily care that someone dislikes me? No. But if I am completely isolating myself by putting myself in a situation like that, where I'm completely on the outside and people go, Jesus Christ, man, I don't like you because of this, I have to care about that because that's how we humans sort of survive. Yeah, but so they say they don't care what people think to impress someone so that the person thinks of them in a good way. It is. It's ironic. Well, that's exactly what I mean. Is most of the people saying it. So when you're a teenager, again, this is me sounding like Pops Compton. When you're a teenager, you say things because it appeals to the type of person you would like to appeal to. The person you would like to appeal to is somebody who really likes the idea that you don't care. That is who you're appealing to. That is the person who you claim you don't care what they think. You do care what they think because you would like to be in the group with them. Or you can say, no, I don't need a group. In which case you become depressed and a sad sack, and then everybody's asking you all the time if you're okay and if anything's wrong, and people go, yeah, well, I'm fine, I'm okay, and all you keep saying is, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay, and of course you're saying that because you're not. Because nobody asks you if you're okay if you just are okay. They ask you that because they can tell that you're not. So, again, people need people. Now, I'm not saying they need them as in they can never be alone. I'm saying that as in, you know, people kind of need folks to, they need folks to at least feel as though they're not outcasts. You know, being alone and being lonely, two very different things. Being isolated and not being with other people, two very different things. And they're conflated by people who have not thought about this thoroughly. They are not the same thing at all. The best thing is sawing the heads off babies. I know, fuck. I've said some horrible shit on my stream, frankly. Through my 15 episodes, I've said some horrific shit on here. I'm sure that at some point, if this stuff, now, of course, all the people in my business are well aware of the kind of asshole that I am, but I'm sure that people would be, there would be some kind of a Huffington Post story about me being a huge douche. Despite the fact, I actually am kind of a, well, not kind of, I am definitely a left-leaning guy, but I do not appeal to the crazy left. I do not appeal to those people. And I don't really appeal to the right either. So, you know, you're kind of in this weird, like, you know. Talk about isolation. You're in with, I think, the silent majority. I really believe that you're in a silent majority when you're the people who just go, oh, that's a little nuts for me, man. I generally I'll put it this way. I guarantee, and if anybody's watching and not sure what was asked, so you only stream on Fridays. I don't just stream necessarily on Fridays. That's the only time I guarantee I'm going to stream. I'll put it that way. So I guarantee I will stream on Friday unless I announce something on Twitter. But, you know, other than that, yeah, I stream. Go Bastion, really. I stream pretty much when I have time. So like if I can come home early from work, I'll hop on and play a game and, you know, and then get back to doing a bunch of other shit. But yeah, I really I enjoy my streaming shit. Yeah, I have Borderlands 2. I started doing Borderlands 2. Just to play through it again, prepping for Borderlands 3. I have to finish my playthrough. which is going to be, I am going to be continuing. I'm going to be jumping back onto that. Is probably my next stream. Either my next stream, possibly. I don't know if I want to do any tonight. But I do want to play through Borderlands. I've done some wacky shit on my stream. Like I did this, yeah, I've done, well, you can see, but I made like an improv phone call, thing that I put together, and I put together a stupid, like, Kim Kardashian, music video. That, as it turns out, at least according to the stats, most dudes who watched that video were actually trying to watch that video to jerk off. So, sorry to those guys, because that is not necessarily the best of fat material. That is not the best. You can do better than that, and I think you should hold yourself to a higher standard. If you're gonna jerk off to high quality material. You know, don't blow your load to just anything, dude. Play the shit out of Zane in FL4K. I cannot wait. Yeah, I know. Incidentally, I was talking when I first hopped on stream here. I was talking a little bit about the whole Stadia thing. I am interested in other people's thoughts on this, because I've seen a lot of people online. I pre-ordered that. Okay, so you maybe you're not familiar with Stadia. So to give you a quick thing on that, it's Google started a new streaming service, and the idea with this streaming service is that it's not quite like Origin. It is something where no game files are stored locally, none. And you completely remotely play the game, meaning you don't own any games, but you pay a subscription, and you just start playing a game. You go, oh, I'd like to play this game, and you just boot it up, and it goes, because they have it playing on their servers. There's a lot of skepticism, and I think rightfully so. I have been on fucking point. Have you been seeing that shit? I have been on point with those dashes. Right, so that's the thing. So there's a huge delay. Okay, alright, a huge delay with the thing. Alright, understood. So, the thing that I am wondering about, and I understand that people are very skeptical about whether or not this is actually going to work well. And I am too. But they're concerned about the input lag, and they're of course concerned that you're not really going to be able to stream at 60 FPS, you know, at 4K. Which again, that is another concern for sure. But I feel like, why the fuck not give it a try? Like, if you do the math on the service in terms of its cost, why not try it? I mean, fuck. I don't trust the concept at all, but if what they're saying is all true, this will change gaming forever. I agree with you, dude. I agree with you. Because I believe that, and I don't know if it'll be Google who will be the ones always servicing it. It may not always end up being Google. It may be that Google can't do it. They have the infrastructure and they can put together the infrastructure, but they don't have the intellectual property. You know, whatever the situation may be. Like, the thing about it is that, oh, here we go. Is that if you can, in fact, start streaming games, I don't know why you would ever buy a console unless it's just for local gaming. And a lot of the older gamers, a lot of the people who are, you know, actually, funny enough, of my generation, are like, no, we don't want that. We want our games physical. Why? I have about as much interest in that as I do about going to the dentist. Like, you know, and having a fucking cavity drilled. Like, that to me is a burden. Like, I don't like having, you know, this computer is decked out with a bunch of solid state drives, and you know, it's a pain in the ass to put these things together, and it would not, it's gonna run things really well, and everything is awesome on my computer, but man, if I could save some money on my computer and not build top of the line, but just build something that's good, and I can still play things the way I want to play them, fuck, I think that's a good idea. So that's my thing. And yes, there's bound to be input lag. No matter how much they try to contain it, there will be input lag, which kind of makes it a no-go for me. Because most of my favorite games are games that require very good reaction time, really well performed inputs. So that is my main concern, and that is the thing that I'm not sure how you physically overcome it. I have put together in my job, I do so many weird things in my job, I can't even tell you, but I put together different server configurations and have had to run programs for other places on a server, a remote server, in a kind of a Citrix setup, and you know, some things and you know, other sorts of setups. But I have had to put a lot of things together like that, and people notice very small pings. They really do. Like the ping time of
You died. Just go in. We killed 3. How did we lose that fight?
Jesus Christ, this guy. People notice like 50 milliseconds, like in a major way. Like they're upset. People get upset about the 50 milliseconds of input delay. So all I can say is good fucking luck. Like I don't think that it's going to be input delay free. They claim that it is. They claim that it's totally, you know, it's palatable, there's no problem, like that's their claim. I don't believe it. But again, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna reserve judgment, and I'm gonna see, like, cause it's Google. It's Google we're talking about. I have friends from undergrad who ended up working for Google. And they were some of the brightest fucking guys I've ever met in my entire life. And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they figured something out that other people haven't. But it is a physical, you're absolutely right. It is a physical limitation. So the question is really, how did you overcome it? If you did, how did you do it? And what are you doing? But it's totally, it's totally a physical limitation. Let's see, who else is good? You were good. I guess you put on bubbles. That was okay. Alright. Must be fucking nice. Okay. Just take a look real quick. I'm just gonna scroll through here. I wanna see what kind of crap is going on, if there are any neat things happening here in the news. Oh God, I saw this one. I have to
Enjoying the first days of summer, 11-year-old Achilles Castijon's last days of school are ones his parents would rather forget. Achilles is autistic, nonverbal. He occasionally rocks back and forth and shakes.
Are there like 2 videos playing here?
Special education teachers at Gary's Bailey Preparatory
What the
Academy
fuck were they thinking, putting it together?
You think one would know
What
and
the fuck?
understand the conditions of autism and have more patience to deal with children who suffer from autism.
Which is why Estella and Rick Casajan were shocked and hurt when Achilles was given this award by his teacher at an end of the school year luncheon. It says, Most Annoying Male, with the name of the school spelled wrong.
I didn't want to cause a scene, with other parents there. And so I left the award on the table and tried to walk away. He was like, oh, Achilles forgot his award.
Rick Casajan is thankful his son does not understand what the award means.
When they called him up, he was just excited to get a, gold star, because it's shiny.
Estella Casajan, who did not attend the awards lunch, went to school the next day demanding an apology. She never got one from the teacher
I know
or the
For Honor.
principal.
Yeah.
However, the school district did apologize.
You'll read it in a second.
By Dr. Pete Marikas reads in part, quote, the Gary Community School Corporation does not condone this type of behavior and will continue to put the safety and well-being of our students first. This is a lesson for people, especially teachers, to understand children with autism.
My God.
Like everyone else, and he is like everyone else. The only difference is he just cannot express himself like every other person does.
Enjoying the first days of summer, 11-year-old Achilles Casajan's last days of school are ones his parents would rather forget. Achilles is autistic. Nonverbal, he occasionally rocks back and forth and shakes. Traits the boy's special education Bailey Preparatory Academy should be familiar with.
You think one would know and understand the conditions of autism and have more patience to deal with children who suffer from autism.
Which is why Estella and Rick Casajan were shocked and hurt when Achilles was given this award by his
name is
teacher
Achilles,
at
too.
the end of the school
That's a
year
badass
luncheon.
name.
It says, Most Annoying Male, with the name of the school spelled wrong.
I didn't want to cause a scene, with other parents there. And so I left the award on the table.
All right, I gotta stop this because it's playing again. I can't believe that. Okay, so yeah, what are your... It's funny, but not for the right reason, but holy fucking shit. It's like, oh my God, you can't do that, dude. And not only that, but who thought that was a good idea? Like, did he get drunk and forget? Like, I made an award for everybody. I'm just. He's like pulling a Rick Sanchez. He's like pulling a Rick Sanchez and being like, I ended up making an award for everybody last night, Morty. And coming in and just being like, oh shit, I didn't know I did that. Like he's just like, what? Did you forget? Like, you can't do that, bro. You can't do that. You're not allowed. Now, this is part of what I was talking about remember, this is what I was talking about with the whole thing. As far as your, do you have to care what people think? No, but do you have to care what people think? Yes. It's a little bit of this. It's that. It's this. You've now put yourself on a fucking island. All right, so good luck trying to get another job. And by the way, you're gonna lose your job. For sure. Like, that's a foregone conclusion. In fact, the way the conversation would go, if this were an employee of mine, which thankfully I have not had to personally fire anybody. There have been other people who have kind of had to do it. But if it were somebody of mine, I would quite literally start the conversation this way. Well, obviously you're fired, so get your shit together. But like, how many drugs did you do to come up with this stupid idea, bro? Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, anyway, as you were saying, so I play a game called For Honor, and yes, I know what that one is. Its combat system is kind of complicated, but you have, yeah, and I know, yeah, you're right. So that would be an example there. You throw attacks in those three directions as well, and if the Mimi attacks top? Oh, probably the enemy. attacks top, you block there, but you see there are some very quick moves, and 400 milliseconds to be exact. Every single millisecond counts, but you're absolutely right. That would be an example where if you are on a Stadia system and the other person is sitting on their local system, they have a distinct advantage. Yeah. That is a huge advantage. And it just wouldn't work. And I have a feeling, personally, that competitive gaming, which, you know, competitive gaming keeps growing. It really does. It keeps growing. But I don't know how big it's going to get. Like, that's the other thing. I sometimes think about competitive gaming and wonder, like, but where do you go? Oh, shit. Maybe this was a mistake, bro. I was just trying to save us some time. Alright, yeah, you probably should. Because holy shit, man. 6:30 in the morning. Enjoy. Live it up, man. Live it up. And you know, yeah, feel free. You followed the channel. You know, if you go on my Twitter, I do a lot of trading on my Twitter, frankly. In fact, most people follow me for day trading, which is funny. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I definitely highly recommend you get some fucking sleep, because holy shit, 6:30 in the morning. What are you doing, bro? Get it together, man. Get it together. Jesus Christ. Yeah, definitely have yourself a good night, man. Or rather, morning. But yeah, you know. Oh shit. Okay. I absolutely need to consider. I mean, we held pretty well here. We really held well here. But then we blew it. And then I think I kind of wasted my ult a little bit. Oh, fuck me. Oh, God. Ah. Jesus. Bob is ridiculous. That fucking guy is ridiculous. Alright. What I want to do is I want to pull up another amazing. I just, oh man. I wish I understood. I have a story. I do have a really good story about, like, something you can't do anymore in school, but was absolutely something that happened in my school that I don't even think you could do it at the time, but I was at a small charter school, so we kind of got away with it, I guess. Yeah, good talks, dude. You know, I'll be seeing you around, hopefully. You know, if you ever pop by, say hello, won't you? So in school, we had this guy who was like, he had Tourette syndrome, and or at least that's what he was taking medication for, was Tourette syndrome. And his mom was really insistent on it. He had one of these really overprotective moms, and this kid was, I mean, aside from the Tourette's, all right, he was one of the most annoying motherfuckers on the planet. Like, he was the bane of my existence. I really disliked this kid. And again, not Tourette's. That's not the problem. The problem is not Tourette's. The problem was that he was a huge jerk. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh god. I will save you. Fly toward me, you son of a bitch. Yo. Oh, yeah, baby. Alright. I did, apparently, I felt like I did a lot, but my numbers say otherwise, so. apparently I'm trash. But this kid was a huge douche. And so there was nothing more satisfying to me. Nothing more satisfying to me than seeing this kid get in trouble, and he one day would not stop making dolphin noises. Like, he would not stop doing it. And what he did in order to make the dolphin noises, I guess I'm going with, yeah, all right. What he would do to make the dolphin noises is he would put his lips together and he would inhale and he would make this weird, like, crackling sound. And so the teacher got fed up with it. And so he was just like, you know what? I want you to start making those dolphin noises, and I don't want you to stop just all day. Or I'm going to start taking points. We had just taken a test. He said, or I'm going to start taking points off your exam. Now, I don't know whether he was serious or whether he was bluffing, but this guy was known for being kind of a hard ass. Like, this instructor was known for being a hard ass. The guy was, let's face it, he was a prick. He helped me out. He helped me out a lot in life. He really did. This particular teacher helped me out quite a bit in life, and for that I am eternally grateful, but he was kind of a prick. And hopefully he acknowledges. If you're out there, you know you're a prick. But I owe you. Big time. So, the thing that was so funny is the kid, he starts making the dolphin noises. And he just keeps on going. Like, the whole day. He just keeps making these fucking dolphin noises. And he was just, by the end of the day, just like so burnt out on it. And he was, but all of us in school, because this kid was such a douche, that all of us were like, yes. Fuck Chris. Fuck Chris. He sucks so much. This is so satisfying. But it's wrong. Now, he says, if you make those dolphin noises, at the end of the day, he says, if you make those dolphin noises again, then I'm going to make you do it again with the same penalty. And we're just going to keep doing this, rinse and repeat. And again, he had Tourette's syndrome, or at least that's how he was diagnosed, right? And he comes in and he stops making noises the next day. And he actually completely stops making noises. And his behavior completely changed. Now, I've seen people who I'm pretty sure this has got to be a real thing. It's got to be. It seems outrageous when you're experiencing it, but it's got to be a real thing. Because it's fucking ridiculous. Like, if you've ever heard somebody who's struggling with Tourette's, you're not doing that on purpose. Bottom line is, I don't know if maybe in his case it was not actually somebody who had Tourette's syndrome. Maybe he was somebody who was putting on a little bit of a show. You know what I mean? Like, he was trying to get attention. I think his dad had kind of run out on him a little bit. Maybe it was trauma. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know why he would have done it, but holy fucking shit. Like, he stopped making those noises. Dead. Like, it was over. Yeah, I don't know. I just blew me away. But yeah, you can't do that. And I don't know, like, and I bet you anything that if any person on the planet were going to give an award out to a kid with a straight face, most annoying male award, just like these people with their, giving it to an autistic kid, that would have for sure been this professor. Okay. It takes a lot of balls to hide more than 200 fentanyl pills under your genitals? I'd like to know about this. I would like to know about this. Oh no. Oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Man. Teen had 200 plus. Which one is the man and which one's the teen? What? Man, teen had 200 plus fentanyl pills under their genitals? What? One of these guys is a teenager? Am I getting that correct here? 2 Chino Valley men were arrested on suspicion of transporting and selling a narcotic drug after more than 200 fentanyl pills were found under the genitals of one of the men and a teen they were with. Okay, so they don't include. All right, there we go. The Yavapai County Sheriff's Office reported on Wednesday, around 4 p.m. on Sunday, June 2nd, the black Chevrolet 1500 truck of 50-year-old Randall Arrington was located and stopped in the area of Iron Springs Road near Williamson after it made several moving violations. Yeah, it always goes down that way, doesn't it? Inside the truck, detectives discovered a container with marijuana residue and drug paraphernalia. And detectives discovered that Arrington was also driving with a suspended license. I want to know how they got to the balls part. During booking, officials found a bag tucked under Arrington's genitals filled with 73 blue M30 fentanyl pill. Okay, that's how we got to the balls. All right, that's what I was curious about. I wanted to know how we got to these balls. Because normally during a stop and you go, yeah, that's suspicious. Sir, yeah, I'm going to need you to lift up your balls there, sir. Yeah, based on the interviews and investigation, it was determined that Arrington Stevens and Stevens' son, his son, knew about and were involved in the transportation of the fentanyl pill. Boy, Dad was a hero. The charges against Arrington include transportation of a narcotic drug for sale and promoting prison contraband. Also facing a charge for the transportation of a narcotic, Stevens is additionally charged with the intentional child abuse. What about the kid, though, you know? Stevens' son is pending charges for possession and transportation of a narcotic drug. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot going on there. I don't know, man. I don't know. That is some shit. Okay, well, I gotta tell you guys, actually, this was a very good stream. I had a lot of fun. This was pretty awesome. Let's see. Let's put on some music here. Some good music to go out. Let's put on some good music to go out. Shall we? Yeah, we'll just put some good shit out there. That's what I'm talking about. There it is. Haha! I'm here. Definitely went, I think I went a little bit longer than I wanted to be honest with you, but you know what? It was worth it. It was a lot of fun. I did really enjoy this. You know what? Shooting the shit. Talking about all kinds of things. This is a little bit more, you know, I do a lot of goofy fun. This was a little bit less goofy, I think, than normal. I think it was a little less goofy, slightly less goofy. Less goofiness. A little bit. But I still think it was a good time. And hopefully you feel the same way about it. But like I said, it falls into that category. I love that we're falling into that category. And what category am I talking about? I'm talking about the one where I can say that it's good enough. See you guys. See you next time. Probably sooner rather than later, yeah?
Like the cool blue light.